want to show you how we go from an innocent little minor triad to expanding those 3 notes all across the instrument. Changing keys. And adding tiny details that transform this from a practice routine into music. The first thing I want you to get to grips with is what's called a spread triad. When we take the closed triad, where it's root, third, and fifth in that order, we basically spread it out, where we take the root down here, then instead of the third next, we take the 5, and we put the minor third, in this case on a minor chord, up the octave to make it a minor 10th. So our pattern is 1, 5 with the minor third on top. Our next stop is to play all the inversions of this. So we start with the root position, 1, 5, minor third. We move up to the first inversion, which starts on the minor third. So we go minor third, root, fifth. Our second inversion, which starts on the fifth. So we go fifth, minor third, and root. And then if you have the range on your instrument, we go up to our root position again, up the octave. Slightly different fingering with the left hand. But that's our basic premise of spread triads in the root, the first inversion, second inversion, and then up the octave back to our root position again. Now, I was arpeggiating them. There's no reason why we can't play them as chords. And I think where you really start to get control over harmony and control over the full range of your instrument is when you start doing this in all 12 keys. So I'm starting out in C minor here. I'm going to go up a fourth around the cycle of fourths to F minor. Now, when we run out of range to go to that second inversion, I'm going to do it down the octave. So root, first inversion, and I'm going to have to go down the octave for the second inversion, and then our root ends up being in the same place again. Let's go up another fourth to B flat minor, and right away I'm running out of range, so I've got to go down the instrument to play the first inversion and the second inversion. Now, of course, I could also start down the octave. It's really good to be aware of all the positions you can play these notes in. And if you want all of this laid out in book format, I have Chord Harmony Volume 1, Chord Harmony Volume 2. These 2 books cover everything we're talking about in today's video, plus much, much more extra chord voicings for 4-string, for 5-string, all the inversions, exercises based around chords. These 2 are just a much deeper dive into what we're talking about today. They're linked below. I have signed physical copies like these that ship from here in my studio worldwide. You can also get physical copies at Amazon, digital copies at my website, janekgwizdala.com/store. Now, what I promised you was how we were going to take this from an exercise, from a practice routine thing where we kind of go through all the keys, how we go from that to really being musical, to making music. Now, what I want to give you is a chord we haven't looked at yet. It's a linking chord. It's a way I like to get from one key to another. It's really good to practice that within the cycle of fourths here. So if we start out in C minor, like we've been doing already, that's been our exercise so far, right? We've put root position, first inversion, second inversion, up to the root. Now, if I give you this new chord, this new voicing, and instead of, after we play our second inversion, instead of going back to the root here, we actually go to the 5 chord of the next key. So our new chord, we've gone through our cycle of C minor spread triads, is this one right here. You hear how that just wants to go there. And we can use the same one going back to C. You feel how that wants to go from here to here. It's a 5 going to a 1, but the 5 is the first inversion. So in this case, we're going C minor, and then we get to E, C sharp, and G, which is kind of an E diminished, which is in our family of C7, basically, our 5 chord, because our destination is F minor. So it's a 5 going to 1, except the 5 is first inversion, not root. And then you can add that new chord to all of the key centers. So when we're going from C to F, it's a half step beneath our destination. So our destination F minor, we play this shape a half step below, E diminished to F minor. Now we cycle through our 3 positions in F minor. Our next key, upper 4th, is B flat. So we want to play A diminished or F7. Same chord essentially, 5 going to 1. Now we cycle through our B flat minor. Next chord in our sequence, next key center in our sequence is E flat minor. So we want to go D diminished or B flat 7 to E flat. And so the cycle continues. I'll play it without talking so you can really get a feel for how it sounds and where the motion is heading. So I'm adding that 5 chord every time I go to a new key center. So already you have a device to change keys. So when you're creating form, when you're creating music, this is an amazing tool to have when maybe you feel like you've been stuck in the same place for a while. Now you have a tool to go somewhere else, to actually go anywhere else you want. It doesn't have to be upper 4th. You can use the same device to modulate into any other keys. Some of them are going to be a little more disjointed than others, not going to sound as smooth, but there's no reason why you can't use that device to go to any other key center from where you currently are. Now diving deeper into the musical side of the process, the musical side of the time you spend with your instrument, I want you to try using a similar concept, but we're only going to use 2 of the chords in each sequence. Instead of going all the way up to that second inversion, we're just going to use the root and the first. So on the root and the minor third for every chord, still going in the cycle of fourths. It's just 2 chords in each key center, and then we go upper 4th. So C, F, B flat, to E flat, to A flat, to D flat, to F sharp, to B, to E, to A, to D, all minor, to G, back to C again. That still sounds kind of like an exercise, but then once you have all of those shapes under your fingers, then kind of the sky's the limit in terms of opening it up, being a bass player, laying down some foundation. And it's this kind of time that I spend with my instrument that gives me that amazing confidence when I step on the stage to be okay no matter what happens. You know, there's that dreaded moment when it comes to maybe a bass solo and the band drops out and you're kind of, what do I do? Do I play linear? Do I play chords? Do I play the bass line? What's going on here? And also, do I play the form of the song? Do I make something up on my own? Well, armed with just this basic tool of triads and spread triads and being able to move to any key, you know, we started out with just 3 notes, with just 3 notes of a minor triad. Quick side note, there's no reason why you can't do it exactly the same thing with major. So make sure you do major and minor. But the fact that we started out with a minor triad, we spread those out, we looked at all the inversions, we looked at a 5 chord to help get us to different keys, then we sort of condensed it to 2 chords to make it a little bit more focused, and then opened it up into a groove that was kind of melodic, it was kind of chordal, it was definitely very groovy, it covered a lot of ground, and I didn't feel under any pressure to do that. And it's this kind of quality time that I spend with the instrument that gives me that confidence when I step on the stage to be able to deal with any situation that comes my way. And my hope is that working on things like this is going to do exactly the same thing for you. I really appreciate you spending some time with me, talking about bass, learning about music. I'll see you guys very soon.